Nadine, thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us in this edition of the Primetime News on Equinoxe Television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. Inter-urban transport agencies get overcrowded as end-of-year festivities draw near. Some transport agencies in the city of Douala experiencing an increasing number of passengers who are flowing or streaming into those agencies to travel from Douala to other parts of the country to celebrate Christmas and of course New Year, as well as other end-of-year festivities. In the meantime, transport authorities are stepping up efforts to ensure that the travelers are safe as they move from one part of the country to the other. The Littoral Regional Delegate of Transport, Ayugeta Pamela, made some surprise visits to some travel agencies here in the economic capital, Douala. Right, Nadine, thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us into the second segment of this newscast. We begin with this sad news concerning a 6-year-old child who has died in unclear circumstances in Bangé, Nouveau Quartier, in the Douala 5 subdivision. The death of the little girl provoked commotion in the neighborhood. An angry mob converged on the residence of the child's father, threatening to execute jungle justice on his wife, suspected to have tortured the child to death, and the intervention of gendarme officers saved her from the angry mob, and the lifeless body of the child was transported to the Dedo District Hospital. Mortuary investigations to establish the cause of the child's death are on course. And as seconds, minutes, hours and days boil down to end-of-year festivities, the number of passengers struggling to travel from one part of the country to another is steadily increasing at inter-urban transport agencies across the country. Here in the economic capital, Douala, many of the inter-urban transport agencies are almost overcrowded beyond capacity, and we have this report with our reporter, Immaculate Fogwe.
With the safety rules that ought to be respected by each agency. Seated at every corner of the park, the passengers are anxiously waiting and hoping that the next bus to depart they will be among. This is often the case witnessed with most passengers who decide to travel few days to the festive season. To depart, they will be among. This is often the case witnessed with most passengers who decide to travel few days to the festive season.
Poor quality of that report by Immaculate Fogwe, presenting the situation in inter-urban transport agencies in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. And saw in that report the inter-urban transport agencies in Douala almost overcrowded beyond capacity. The number of persons who are struggling to travel from Douala to other parts of the country to celebrate Christmas and New Year steadily increasing, and transport officials in the littoral region of the country are stepping up efforts to curb inter-urban or road accidents on highways, notably across the country. And the Littoral Regional Delegate of Transport, Ayugeta Pamela, made some surprise visits to some transport agencies here in the economic capital, Douala, today. And of course, Ayugeta Pamela and her team of experts and other transport stakeholders were in Aqua Bonaberi, of course, to check the roadworthiness of vehicles plying into urban roads. And the road safety campaign is part of government's effort to curb the rate of accidents during this end-of-year festive period, as agencies are now crowded with passengers. And yesterday, the delegate noticed that she noticed what she described as irregularities in some agencies where the roadworthiness of vehicles were not checked, and the owner of transport agencies, the owners of transport agencies were obliged to comply with the required norms. Let's now listen to the Littoral Regional Delegate of Transport, Ayugeta Pamela. In this excerpt, she spoke to Innocent Abega.
We are launching the road safety campaign for the festivity period. Like you know, traffic is really dense now. You could see when we passed through Buka Voyage and General Voyage that there were many travelers. So this campaign is special. But you should know that we do road safety every day. But today we are launching it because we have some message to sensitize users. We need to tell users that we are on number 3 National Road, and we have fixed radars on this road. They are placed in different positions, and they should be very careful because these radars, there's nobody standing there to tell you stop or you have done this, you've done that. It's digital, it's automatic, and it films the image of the person driving the car, the number plates, time when you pass there, and the speed that you used to pass there. So everything is there. We don't do repression, we sensitize. The minister has insisted that we should sensitize. We want to make users to know that it's not all about paying money. It's about knowing that when you're driving, you should drive at the speed required. All the road signs are there for you to follow and respect it, and we are free to have an end-of-year feast with no incidents.
So, okay, throughout the campaign...
This is the first day of the launching. We had to go to the agencies to check and see the state of the buses that transport people from one part of the country to another. And we went to Buka Voyage, then to General, where we realized there was a technical problem. It did not have the roadworthiness certificate. So we had to accompany the bus here to do the control. And after the control, the vehicle is acceptable to ply the highway.
Ayuketa Pamela, Littoral Regional Delegate of Transport and another transport official, speaking there in that extract compiled by Mimi Mefo and Inosang Abega. Now onto something else. Patients suffering from kidney failure in the southwest region of the country are lamenting and suffering as a result of the Anglophone crisis, which has made things quite difficult for them, notably concerning the access to treatment. The
economic hardship brought by the Anglophone crisis is having untold pains on patients suffering from kidney problems in the southwest region.
I'm a dialysis patient since 2012. We have so many patients who are, in fact, going down. You know, the socio-economic situation.
Mr. Tambe George, the president of the Dialysis Patient Association in Buea, says the security threat and poverty are aggravating the health condition of patients, as many are unable to pay their dialysis sessions or even get to the hemodialysis center because of security challenges.
It's not easy for patients to travel from the Kondo Titi, Kumbal, Limbe, Edinau to come here.
And today, the management of the Buea Regional Hospital is receiving a 500,000 donation from IA Foundation, a subsidy for dialysis fee.
The hemodialysis center of Buea is really happy for this Christmas gift.
This foundation also carries out kidney awareness campaigns.
So if you have constant checkup in the hospital, then you watch your diet and you do exercise, until you have the chance to not to suffer from kidney problem.
Now, in the southwest region, members of IA Foundation have made it public that they will be extending their activities to Bamenda and Douala in the nearest future.
Iya Bekono, she was a kidney patient and had a kidney transplant, and she was inspired to start the IA Foundation because of her experiences, and she realized in the process of her own illness that a lot of patients need help in going through.
And amid the deepening Anglophone crisis, the southwest regional chieftain Buea is striving to regain its position as one of the cleanest towns in the Cameroun following the return of the waste disposal company Izakam trucks to the town, and the Buea Council had spared no effort in ensuring that the waste disposal company Isakam returns to the municipality in a bid to get her rid of the garbage that were littering around the streets, on the streets of Buea. And it is within the context of the Anglophone crisis that this is happening. The temporary suspension of works by the company after many of their trucks were burned is said to have made life very difficult in Buea, just like in Kumba, Bamenda and other major towns in the northwest and southwest regions of the country, because the towns became very dirty as a result of the absence of Isakam. Now Isakam's return to Buea has been appreciated by inhabitants who saw the company at work already, and inhabitants have also appreciated the mayor of the Buea Council, Ikema Patrick Esonge, for his efforts to ensure that Isakam returns to Buea in order to keep Buea clean. In news out of the country, we talk about the last bomb blast in the Somali capital, Mogadishu, that has killed at least 10 persons. Katsi News.
At least 13 people have been killed by a car bomb in the Somalian capital, Mogadishu. Over a dozen people were wounded in the attack, which was claimed by Al-Shabaab, a group linked to Al-Qaeda. Police said the bomber targeted a checkpoint near the president's palace in the city, and that a second explosion followed nearby. Witnesses at the scene said the victims included a journalist and security personnel working for a local television station who were crossing the checkpoint at the time of the blast. Al-Shabaab was forced out of Mogadishu in 2011, but maintains a foothold in other regions of Somalia. The group has killed thousands of people in a decade-long insurgency that spread to other parts of East Africa.
And that's it for this edition of the news. Thanks, dear televiewers, for staying with us. Good night. Good night, Nadine.
Good night, Babila, Jonathan. Mesdames et messieurs, c'est la fin de ce journal. Merci pour votre aimable attention et passez d'agréables moments en compagnie de nos programmes.